Hello guys and welcome to the fourth part of this amazing series. Now, you have been giving this a lot of support and I appreciate that. Now I've actually seen how much y'all actually want me to continue and finish this. I will, and I assume at part 6, that's gonna be the final part probably, so I'm just letting y'all know. Again, the whole thing about joining the Navy, I want to, but like I have to be able to pass a certain amount of tests anyway, so I mean, I hope I pass. Again, pray for me to pass. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to try my best. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to have to get a soul-crushing job and deal with the reality of that. Or I'll just apply a few years later anyway, because why not? I mean, I'll probably be more fit by then, get my shit together. But, without any further ado, let's begin with the recap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of my future videos. Alright, let's go. So we last began and continued with one day thinking about their intern choices, which leads to Izuku working with Night Eye. And soon he goes to Hosu, where he and Bubble Girl fight Nose, and Izuku heads off finding Ida. He finds him, but is overtaken by bloodlust when seeing his friend almost die, but is stopped by Mirio. Stan is then taken in later, and the credit still goes to Endeavor, while Izuku soon returns to his home, and then their school. The student versus teachers then soon comes. Everyone does well, but not everyone passes. Izuku and Bakugo do though. They're the first to pass. After this, they go to the Forest Lodge and are plunged into training until the villains would attack. Izuku goes and saves Koda, who he brings back to Mandalay after beating Muscular and his muscular clones. But Izuku ends up being taken away and brought to the Villain League, who tried to, as they might, couldn't hurt him at all. They couldn't beat Izuku. Even when Gigantomaki sneak attacked him, Izuku would just call Aizawa and anticlimactically say that he's fine. So, riding to Kamo in a pack, many police cars head to the barren land as described by Aizawa, and they have heroes chasing behind, and some even on rooftops atop their cars, on the top of their cars, but they get far enough and then they see it. They see the hangar of villains. Endeavor, Mirko, Best Genius, All Might, Aizawa, Earthshock, Gran Torino, Kame Woods, Mount Lady, all these heroes watch as Izuku walks forward from the villains strung up by its chains, battered, stabbed, especially the giant Gigantomakia. And with a bow, Izuku then said, "Sorry for getting caught." What? No, All Might said, "You did well. Incredibly well. Don't feel bad about that." Coming up to Izuku, an excited Miracle would then shake him, saying, "We gotta throw down some time. After school, sure. Agreeable. I like it." Running past the heroes, the police would then go and find some maidens, bring out the maidens for villains. It's a thing that locks up villains. You know what it is. If you don't, search it up. And they call for more backup for the giant especially, and the heroes in general are just amazed that he did this all by himself, especially All Might, who as he came face to face with All For One, saw him just barely hanging there, like he was barely alive, merely a shell of what he used to be. And looking back, he saw the heroes congratulating and telling Izuku he did very well, and Gran Hero then walked up to All Might saying, "I never thought I'd see the day." "You're telling me," said the hero. The conversation at that moment, however, is then cut short by a flashing of lights coming from above, with the newscopter starting to report the situation and relaying it to the people of Japan, who gather in streets, large in numbers, and they see the face of Izuku plastered on their screens, and an anxious Inko, as she drove to UA, heard the following on the radio. "If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't believe it. Those chains are inexplicable. Those definitely belong to the genius student Izuku Midoriya, who made waves during the sports festival." Okay, he's okay, she thought. Back at Kamo, the female reporter would then say, "Though we do not know the specifics of what happened, the heroes just got here. This may be indicating that we have a case of ambushing against this one student." Wait, there were teachers there that whole time, and this kid had to do this all by himself, the people would be saying? And that's amazing, but he didn't have to do something like that. This villain wave is really growing, huh? On the other hand, though, that kid might actually become like a hero basically now, even though based on how young he is, And as they begin to cheer on Izuku, and instead the cameras are put on him only, and he then puts a peace sign up with the forced wink, making many burst into laughter as they watch from the streets or their homes. They also just find it adorable, but also it's just weird, he just did it out of nowhere. As he tries to hold in a squeal, Mom Lady would then ask why he did that, and facing the hero, he says that he saw it on a TV show. "By the way, Aizawa-sensei, I have a request." "What is it?" "They're fading away." Looking back and being alerted to hear this, they would then see the villains melting to goo, catching everyone by surprise, as even the giant behemoth was a fake, and All For One raises his head, staring at Toshinori and Gran Torino, and he's not fading away. "Sorry, but it's not going to be that easy." "Crap, they got us." We would then fade to black. Yeah, no one has really won today. We open up on what the reporters refer to as bizarre, as 3 days had passed and a conference was being held where Nezu, Aizawa, Vlad King, and Izuku Midoriya was present. In the room, the city reporters just don't know how to react to this, but those watching the broadcast were very interested, and Izuku's mom would be praying from backstage that everything went well. Before we begin, Midoriya would like to say why he wanted to be a part of this, Nezu asked, and why we let him. Tapping the mic, Izuku would then clear his throat. I don't want to sit at home and watch my senseis get berated for something that they couldn't catch in time. Heroes aren't perfect. People shouldn't expect them to be. Raising a hand, a reporter would then ask Izuku if he can answer some questions, and Nezu would then let him speak. Were you coerced into coming here? If so, then please talk. Do you seriously think anyone here can make me do anything? Izuku asked. Stunned by the answer, the man is about to say something else when a flurry of hands begin to be raised, all pointed towards Izuku, and looking to Nezu, Izuku would nod, and the principal gets the signal to pick for him, which he does. As when the next reporter stood, she asked, "This may be the 4th time alone this year that UA's been attacked. Has that ever made you reconsider going to another school?" I don't think that's the right question. The right one is, why do you care? I don't mean why you're doing your job, Izuku said. I mean, why are you so inclined to talk as if everything falls on the shoulders of UA? Quirks are incredibly diverse. One of the men I fought had the ability to decay anything he touched. How do you think anyone fights against that? Unless you're me or someone like All Might, much less a moveless object just meant for security, there is quite literally nothing you can do. Some threats are just uncompatible. Can we all agree on that? Then what do you think should be done? You fought this man and you came out unscathed. I mean, unless I'm pressing too much. Ha, I got him. This kid probably came here to... I'll give out part of my weapons, Izuku said. This news surprises even the heroes, with Izuku then holding his hand out and opening a gate, and from it drops a beautiful golden cube that everyone is drawn to. And Izuku says this is the equivalent of the ultimate security system. Yes, some threats are incompatible with any type of quirk, heroes, and are uncompatible. So I'll make them compatible. With this declaration, now things really start to ramp up, with everyone from 1A watching and just laughing at everything, because it is very Izuku-like to just make a claim like that, but they also know that he can back it up because it is him. So what happens is Izuku has many of these cubes, almost infinite, and when activated, they can create an invisible barrier that only lets those register by it into a building or a place that someone is trying to get into. This can be done by giving a bit of your blood, which it does automatically when you stick your finger in it. It dabs a bit of your blood, you feel nothing. And the young student sold this to the Hero Association, giving him millions and millions, and just more to come for the people, as the government realizes how powerful and safe this will make them and their people, and also to other countries as well, but to villains in general. The distribution of these cubes is massive, Izuku giving the association a giant cube, out of which more cubes can be pulled out of. That is the origin of the item itself. I'm going to name it Aegis. If you don't know what that is, search it up, but also it's from Greek mythology or something. However, Izuku isn't dumb. He knows some people are going to try stuff, so he restricts the amount that can be taken a day. And a massive security is put on it, like on the item. And the dorm system also implemented an Aegis cube, and other schools started to do it. Like, people just started spraying this stuff. They started using it, people started buying it, and also it was extremely, like, cheap. It was for the masses. It wasn't like something that they were going to keep at bay. That would be extremely stupid. And also, Izuku is in charge of it. He decides who gets it, so he decided to give it to everyone. And so, yeah. But for now, let's go to Izuku and Inko staring at their new house that they bought, as movers will be walking past them and carrying in their stuff. Your dad will love this, she said. Yeah, and then he'd overreact about how much this would cost. Yeah, this really does cost a lot though. Mom, I'm just saying, Inko said. I never thought you'd be doing that crazy stunt on TV. I just want you to be safe. With my cues, most people will be. Also, that's why I picked this. Some crazies might try to bother us, and that's also why I gave you that necklace. Huh? I thought you gave this because you loved your dear mom. I mean, of course I do, but also as a shield that repels anything hostile or anyone. Okay, that's fine. Alright then, Izuku said, holding his hand out. Inko will then grab it, and they start to go in, start settling in, and they are now in a forest, by the way. They're trying not to, like, you know, bother people by the press, trying to come up to them and ask them questions. Or just Inko in that case, because she's going to be living alone for a while, since Izuku will be staying in the dorms. So, Izuku is set to leave in 2 weeks, and the heroes come, and they take him. They also buy new furniture by that time, though. Izuku gets to spend a bit of time there, and then he goes to UA. As he meets up with everyone again, they would ask Izuku if he was doing alright, and they lined up before the school with the robot holding an Aegis cube at his chest. Please insert your preferred finger into the cube for extraction. As he does so, Mineta would then feel a prick, but it's not painful, and as he pulls back his finger, he is told to go in. And as he did, he feels a shiver through his entire body as the barrier would reverberate and show for a moment in golden color. It's ticklish. Man, this thing's awesome, Midoriya, Minato would say. Yeah, you must be rolling in dough right now. Self-made no less, Kirishima said. I'm more concerned about how our workload's gonna increase now, though, Izuku said. As this dawns on them, though, they realize, we literally live in school now, Mina said. I miscalculated. You don't calculate at all, though, Jiro said. In general. Won't you get the point? Well, at least we get to live in a cool dorm. True. Guys, I'm really fine, Izuku said. How'd you know? It's all over your faces. You're my vice, Ida, Momo. This is the normal for you now. The fact that it is kind of horrifying, Momo said. But I will never be as slow as I was before. I promise, said Ida. Yeah, whatever. Just don't hurt yourself, alright? He laughed, everyone thought. It's not that weird. How can you tell? Izuku would then say, how can I not? And soon they all get in and are shown around, and they got used to the full package that this place is. They have their own rooms with their own bathrooms, closets, and the essentials. The boys are separated from the girls, and you know how it goes. As night falls, they would then, have finished their rooms, and after doing so, the boys would gather in the common area, and Kirishima would then say, man, I am beat. But this whole thing of living together is kind of fun, Kaminari said. The girls would then arrive at that moment asking if they were done with their rooms, and they say, yeah. Okay, then we were thinking of an idea, Mina said. How about we each have a peek into each other's rooms? And the interest of Kaminari and Mineta would grow as the boys would agree eventually, and the first asked to be the class president. As they enter Izuku's room, though, it is extremely normal. I figured there'd be gold everywhere, Hagakure said. Well, I wouldn't be able to sleep, well if it was all in my face, Okay. Oh, who's that? Walking to a big picture, Uraka would then ask about it, and Izuku would then say that that's his dad on there. He died a while back. Well, he seems like a great guy. Almost sparkling, said Aoyama. Thanks. You're quite welcome. Next is Tokoyami, who is extremely averse to it at first, but everyone sees his room eventually. It's dark. Then Aoyama shows his room. Ojiro is next. Ida, Kaminari, Koda, Kirishima, Shoji, Sero, Todoroki, and then Sato. But, of course, Mineta brings up that the boys should not be the only ones who have to show their rooms, and so the girls do as well. It was pretty fun, but, Sato won for his cake that he made, that he offered to the girls, and we're going to have a little time skip. The next day starts off with a bang with the 1A homeroom, as Aizawa would then say they will be diving into something crucial soon. I told you before that you will be diving into getting your provisional licenses. They're incredibly tied to you saving lives, but on average, there's only a 50% success rate. It's that hard, Mineta would ask? That's why I called them. Into the door would then come Midnight, Cementos, and Ectoplasm, who say it is time for them to make some super moves. This gets everyone ready and really into it. They're beyond excited. They are then told to get dressed and do so before being brought to the TDL. And there Cementos raises these giant pillars that can be used for target practice or for someone to just use as a personal spot on top of it. Honestly, this was going to be part of your summer loss training, as always said, but we'll just cover it now. Get to it. Yes, Sensei. As they spread out, Ecto would then make clones of himself to accompany them, and Midnight would be asking where All Might was, and Aizawa would then say he's putting himself through the ringer. Ever since his wound got healed, he's been going overtime. He might just end up being in the same situation again, says Cementos. I just hope he just looks after himself as well. The training would then begin. Izuku has already something on his mind though, and at his own personal pillar, he focuses and rises to the sky. Oh, you have a levitating item, Ecto asks. Oh, I only found it recently. I've been thinking of something to use since then. Tell me what you think. You might want to step back though. With a nod, the hero would then do so as Izuku would then breathe in, gathering 5 gates behind him in the shape of a circle formation, as he would then release hilts, and moving at incredible speed, Izuku would then pull out the weapon and then swing violently and then pick it up and let go, pick up another weapon and let go of the other one, and he grabs and just spins, knocking around air, blowing back Ecto, who almost gets knocked off the edge, and watches Izuku move in a bizarre fashion, grabbing and letting go of weapon after weapon, and that makes this attack pattern very confusing, and you just can't figure it out. Midoriya's going ham, guys. Jeez, look at all that wind. As he finishes switching through every single weapon, they are then thrown to the sky as he leaps to them, and Izuku will then fly and repeat the same moves just as well as he did, despite having no footing at all. And getting even near him at all would be very, very dangerous. And Bakugo realized this as he thought, I really need to get something defensive on my side. Seeing Izuku so focused though, everyone had to do their own thing and focus even more since they can't fall behind, and this isn't the time to ogle at him. When Izuku finishes his presentation, he lands with the blades floating about him as he tries to catch his breath. What do you think? He's incredible, Ecto thought. Have you thought of mixing in your chains to attack, maybe pulling your enemies to you as well? Oh yeah, if I pull them in frontal aerial combat wise, I'll dominate. Thank you. No problem, but I'm gonna need more for you. At that moment, the original Ecto would send more clones over, and with a nod, Izuku would get in a fighting stance right as the horde would then leap to him and he rushes forward. Down below, Ecto would release even more clones after that, saying, yeah, this is exhausting. I love them, they're pretty amazing kids. Yep, and they're only gonna get stronger, as I always said. And so they do, with them having to push themselves as weeks passed until the day that the exams came. Their bus stops at the National Takoba Arena, with them getting off and brushing away their nervousness. But Izuku seems preoccupied, like he was looking for someone. The hell are you looking for? Bakugo asks. Answer me, damn it! Inasa, there you are. Midoriya. Having just arrived, Inasa would then run over with 1A being surprised as they see Izuku just casually hugging someone. This isn't the Midoriya we know. Who are you? You guys are funny, Inasa said. Yeah, this is Inasa, Izuku said. We met during the recommended exams, Izuku said. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, nice to meet you. They all shake hands, say hello, and other students of Shiketsu would then come by. Nagasama would then go up to Izuku and ask for a handshake, and Izuku would give him one. I hope we have a good match, he said. Me as well, said Izuku. As they break the shake, Inasa would then say that he's gotten way stronger, so don't hold back, alright? With a smirk, Izuku would then say, you don't even know if we'll be facing each other, you idiot. I'm hoping for it. See ya. Oh, and say hello to Miss Midoriya for me. As he heads off, the class would be surprised that, he really knows Izuku. Like, the Shigetsu class would be surprised that he knows someone that famous. And Kami said, I thought he'd be some super stuck-up guy. Nah, he's really chill. I mean, a bit of money isn't going to change that, said Inasa. He's practically a billionaire. Like, he's becoming more rich as we talk, right? He is? He developed the Aegis Cube. Of course he is. My parents bought, one a few miles back. They were on sale for the entire month. Oh, I gotta get one too then, Inasa said. As when they would be heading to the arena, meanwhile, they're then met by a Miss Joke. Eraserhead, is that you? Shuddering in fear of the thought of seeing her again, Aizawa's mood would drop as she then says, hey, we should get married. No thank you. This proposition is quite surprising, but it fits Miss Joke's character. Regardless though, Mina is fangirling in the back while she would then ask, you guys are that close? Our agencies were super close, said Miss Joke. I even seen him a few times, so he got a bit smitten. I felt nothing, Aizawa said. So is your class here too? Miss Joke would then say yes, telling her kids to come over, and as they do and approach, they look starstruck with Shindo, yeah, if I'm not wrong, is that his name? Shido? Whatever his name is, moving in and grabbing Izuku's hands. It's such an honor to meet you. You were amazing, even with everything hitting your class this year. As Izuku would thank him, he goes and shakes the hand of everyone, being very friendly and extremely bright until he reaches Bakugo, who tells him to screw off. Your words don't match your face. Reprimanding him, everyone apologizes for that behavior, while the class would then ask for autographs and stuff, but Izuku, much like Bakugo, can tell it is a facade. He just doesn't care that it is, because he's gonna beat them anyway. After this, they then go in. Most of the classes are oblivious, no, not the classes. One is oblivious of what's to come, is that, everyone is targeting them, but it doesn't matter. So, they get dressed, go into the main room where many other schools are gathered, many students, it's just a lot of people, and before them will be Mera at the podium, who begins to clear his throat as he speaks. Alright, you're here for the provisional license exams. I'm Mera with the Heroes Public Safety Commission. My favorite type of sleep is non-REM sleep. Nice to... Sorry, work is so busy that I barely get any sleep. I want to fall asleep so bad. Is this guy okay? All the students thought, with them just feeling bad for him, but the man would stick through it all and explain what they had to do. And members of the Hero Public Safety would be handing out 3 balls and targets. Actually, yeah, if I'm not wrong, yeah. It should be 6 balls or 3 balls to people, and also targets that you must put in front of on yourself, and it has to be somewhere visible. And the room would then open up, collapsing to show their actual fighting ground, which is spectacular. And quickly everyone splits into groups, with 1A doing the same, but Izuku would take to the skies, going on his own, much like Todoroki, Bakugo, and etc. He can fly now? Damn it, we gotta get somewhere safe, the others be saying. And the countdown that begins, with Izuku heading to the city area where one part of UA is then ambushed by Shindo's class, only to be countered quite easily with Aoyama charging up and firing a massive amount of compressed blast that knocked back many of their classes and members. Like, they just sent flying. I thought he had some stomach aches if he used that too much. I gave back the bracelet a long time ago, Aoyama thought. Now it's time for you to break free. With these thoughts, he releases many more blasts, making the class take cover, with everyone else thanking him as they spread out, and he joins Ida and Orjiro to make a team. The others make teams of 2 or 3 and move forward, and Izuku meanwhile was already gathering points, as we find him tapping targets of all those already caught in his chains in numbers up to 30. Let us go and fight for real, you bastard. Shut up, that means we get stabbed or frozen. Are you stupid? Making his way through the chains and ducking and tapping their targets, he soon reaches the other end as the chains would retract with the shock mirror saying, Izuku Midoriya passes after taking out 30 people, and Inasa wins after having eliminated 120. He's getting heated up, Izuku thought. Yeah, this is gonna get annoying real fast. He then takes to the skies and would soon reach the waiting room right as Inasa would then land behind. What did you think? I wouldn't know, I didn't get to see you. Oh yeah, alright. I feel bad since you can't go all out without hurting everyone, honestly. As they walk in, others begin to arrive and Izuku would then say, it's fine. This is all pretty boring to me. That's why I'm glad you came. That's why I'm glad it's not an individual thing. Well, you're welcome. You've definitely gotten way more cocky, haven't you, Izuku said. Man, you're the one who started this first. Don't get embarrassed now. I'm not. Sure, Inasa said. As time passed, the 100 to pass are kept, others are excluded, they're limited anyway, and this includes the entirety of 1A they pass, and everyone is of course excited for the next part. However, as they are directed to the monitor in the room, it shows the field, and Mera would then speak saying, things will change drastically. The field is then bombarded, leaving students at a loss for words as to why the hell they would do this, and the last round facilitates more of them actually being heroes, and Mera says, prove your worth by protecting and saving these bystanders. As he says this, onto the field march some elders, kids, adults as they spray themselves with fake blood, and though worried, the kids are reassured that this is part of their job, like it's literally their profession. I guess anything can be done nowadays. I mean, you gotta have some real guts to do this stuff though. As Mera continues, he says you'll be scored on how well you perform. Those who acquire the required points will pass. You have 10 minutes to prepare. Take your time. As the monitor cuts out, all of 1A looks to Izuku who says, I already have a plan. But Bakugo, I'm gonna need you to be cooperative. I'm already listening to your annoying ass. Why would I go off script? Man, you just cannot talk normally, can you? Hell no. If they want us to prioritize saving the people, then I can make a dome of ice, Todoroki said. Alright, that works too, but this plan needs you specifically, Yaozu. So, this is what we do, said Izuku. As time passes and the other classes strategize, much like 1A, some people even take bathroom breaks, of course, and the room will then come falling apart again, but as it falls, instantly we see Momo take a bite from something given by Izuku as everyone surrounds her in a formation, and Izuku would then fly above, saying, go! As he yells this, they all dart off, while Koda, Todoroki would then stay with Momo, and while they slap to the ground, Todoroki would then release a massive iceberg, which which encircles them while expanding, and with a grunt, Momo would then pop out a massive creation, which as it falls, studs massively to show a tent lined with protective metal. Todoroki then runs out with Koda doing the same thing, while Izuku would then bring out a floating mirror that flies to Momo, who will then see the team working in different corners of the area on different squares. Like it's like mini monitors within the mirror. And this is when Momo would say, oh no, Uraka, don't do that. Uraka would then hear the voice of Momo from where she is in her head as she is told to not carelessly make things float, or the trapped person that she's trying to save could end up actually getting in a much worse situation. Bakugo, you need to only apply a bit of your explosions to that spot, Izuku said, with his words also reaching him all the way, and people begin to be brought back quite successfully. Other classes come and help, and since they're not losing anything by doing so, they just work together. You may be a bit confused, so I'll explain. This is all happening due to an item that I made just for this, situation, because, the Gate of Babylon is so freaking, huge and just powerful that I thought I could just do a little bit of my own stuff. So it's called Collective Linker. Using a necklace that he is wearing, Izuku has given another replica to Momo of the item that it can now connect to those they call out the names of specifically. So of course, if you just say like, Shoji do this, or Tokiyami do this, or like, they will hear it all. And of course, the mirror is used to see things from afar and also know where people are, and all that. The cool curtain made by Todoroki that is covering the actual tent also makes the patients more soothed and comfortable, because it's like the AC in there. Running in at this point with an old lady, Inasa would then see Izuku directing others to free stations, and then Izuku would see him saying, oh, go to the back. I got it, thanks. Izuku would then nod with him, starting to walk out, and you would then see the situation from Momo, like, the mirror and everything, and she's still looking out there, as he would then ask if everything is fine, and she says it's actually going pretty well. Wait. On the other side of the arena, a path is then blown open with Gang Orca and his men making an entrance with all might. Ha ha ha, heroes, let's see how long you last. You're way too enthusiastic about this, Orca said. How could I not be? As Orca's men would then spread out and head over to stations, they're then intercepted by some students, but they have to deal with the henchmen cement guns that fire cement, which of course stick and drive abnormally fast, but they would manage. But with All Might here and almost ready to pounce, Orca and the pressure between them, it's just growing. People are getting scared. Orca would then finally attack, as his men would then make way for him to release a sonic attack that hits and knocks back Manny, Majira would then arrive, using this to attack against him back, like using her own sound waves, and All Might would then release a shockwave with just a swing of his arms. But as it reaches her, a gate would then open before her, and above All Might another one is open, then would then hit him with his own attack. Ugh, using a portal to deflect my own power back to me. Not a bad move, but not enough. Rushing forward, he blows through many students heading for the waiting Izuku, who parries his punch with the flat side of his large blade before then knocking back All Might, who he then manages to hit with many slashes, and he would then thrust, and their mere attempts at hitting each other release massive shock waves. You changed your technique, I see, All Might said. I decided to be more hands-on, sir, said Izuku, as they would then go for another attack, and they would then counter each other as they jump back, avoiding an attack from each other, just as they would then have to jump back, avoiding an attack from Inasa, who would then fall in from above and fire a shot at All Might, who punches and renders his attack completely useless. Inasa would then land almost crashing. When past him then ran Bakugo, going for the hero, who would then dodge and throw a punch, but his arm is then caught by a chain coming from behind. His other hand is then restricted as well, with Bakugo beginning to attack as Todoroki came in with a flame blast that Bakugo would then jump back, avoiding as Izuku's chains were then pulled away. The flames are then blown away by All Might, getting ready for another attack, and the others would then come up and help many students, and Bakugo would then yell, "Bring it on, All Might!" Taken out of sight at this moment, Izuku would then ready to get more serious, and everyone understands what he's going for, so they know what they have to do. But just as they get ready to go, Mara would then announce that the exams have ended. "Are you kidding me right now?" Bakugo yells. The other students meanwhile fall back in relief, as All Might would then say they did very great. Yeah, thank you. We didn't even fight, but it's so much more terrifying. I feel bad for all those villains on the street. Walking off, All Might and Gengoku's men would then begin to retreat, while Bakugo's yelling at Mirror for interrupting his match. But with this over, everyone gets back in their uniforms and are gathered before Mara, but this time without the fake building. It's been a long battle, but now it's time to announce your results. On the board behind him is shown the names of those who have passed, and they look around. All of 1A would find their own names, making them erupt with happiness because they all actually passed. "Yes, I'm on there," Inasa said. They were then soon given their score sheets, and Mara says anyone who failed can try to get a license with a makeup test, so there's no need to worry. At the end of it all, they get their physical licenses, their cards, which Izuku would then send a picture of to Inko. But now let's move on to a much more important little scene that occurs later in the day. As night falls, before All Might would then sit All for One in Tartarus, with them now being monitored and being separated by glass. "You know, they keep a very tight leash on me," said All for One. Tartarus, a place meaning hell itself, named from Greek mythology. Even I would have a hard time getting out of here. "You can't get out of here." Yeah, keep telling yourself that. "Why are you here, All Might?" All Might would then ask where Shigaraki and his people are, and the man would then say that he doesn't know. "Unlike you, my chick has flown the coop." "It's not Midoriya, is it?" "No, that's too obvious. You've been hiding this one pretty well, but when this battle came, I got it." Mirio Togata. Clenching his fist, All Might would then take a deep breath. "What do you even want? What did you want? You gained this mangled body trying to reach some sort of pinnacle. Why haven't been set up a successor?" As he begins to smirk, All for One would then say, "It was fun. You don't recognize him at all, do you? You're talking about him, yet you don't know." What is he talking about? All Might thought. From the other side, as the wardens watch All for One utter his next sentence, they feel an intense bloodlust overflow as All Might would then stand yelling, "You're lying!" All Might, "Do not engage," they all say through the speakers. As All for One would laugh, All Might just learned that Tomura Shigaraki was a grandson of his late master, Nana Shimura. He would have learned this during their fight, but now learning it, everything seems to be like just tumbling, going upside down, just when everything seems to be going somewhat right, which only hurts him more. Time skip 3 days. As the students get back to their normal schedule in their homeroom, Aizawa would then want to elaborate on the next step, which was their work studies in their hero careers. "I need some people to explain it in detail and from experience, so I brought them." The door is then slid open with everyone looking to see the big three enter, and they are introduced to them, leaving the students a bit excited. "Let's start with some introduction," Aizawa said. Facing everyone down with this polarizing stare, Tamaki would then send a shiver down everyone's spine, even the most composed like Izuku and Todoroki. "This guy, he's dangerous." However, in a twist, that somewhat dangerous guy would then plant his face into the board behind. I can't do this, it's too scary, no matter how much I think of them as potatoes." Left in confusion by this, the kids don't really know how to describe this moment. "He's a bit shy," Mirio said. "That was all an act?" "That's kind of amazing in its own way," Kirishima said. "Well, his name is Tamajiki," Nejire said. "I'm Nejire Hado, and he's Mirio Togata. But hey, what's with the mask? Is that a fashion statement or something? Stroking his chin as Shoji asks this, he begins to want to explain when Neji would then look at Todoroki, cutting him off and asking about a scar. When he's about to answer, she moves to Mina and even starts touching her horns. She's a bit curious, she's a curious type, and then she just starts messing around. She's not the most rational of you here, right, Mirio? As I would ask, with him then giving like Miro the most annoying death glare, but like he's also annoyed as hell. And Tamajuki would just be mumbling on the board, Miro then getting a nervous sweat and saying that he'll cover for them. Alright, the journey ahead will be... As he waits for an answer, the confused students don't really know what to say, and he says, "You're supposed to say full of surprises." Haha, I guess that didn't really go over well. These guys are kind of weird, you know, Sato whispered. Indeed, it's hard to know what they're made of, said Tokoyami. Why is she grabbing and pulling my face, Izuku said, with Nejire then grabbing and pulling his cheeks into a smile. I don't have a shape-shifting quirk or anything, you know that, right? It's just the urge to tease you, Nejire said. I don't know why. At that moment, she's then grabbed and picked up by Enkidu, with her giggling as she's put back beside Mirio, saying that, you know, he should do that again. And with the sigh, Izuku would then say, "Are you guys going to show us anything interesting?" I guess we've been a bit disrespectful, Mirio said. I have an idea. Aizawa Sensei, I want your permission to let us have an all-out battle. As everyone raises an eyebrow to this, we cut to the TDL, where we find everyone suited in their gym wear. We're really going to gang up on one guy? This just feels wrong. As he stuck his head to a wall, however, Tamajuki would then say, Mirio, don't do this, alright? It's not like we can put all of our experiences into words easily like that. We don't want any broken students beyond fixing, you know? The hell did you just say? Bakugo yells. We got experience with actual villains, Tokoyami said. We're not pushovers. I'll be the first, Izuku said, with him then walking forward as his Enkidu chains slowly seep out from the gates that he forms behind himself. Damn, I wanted to go first, Kirishima said. I've heard those chains can grab literally anything, Mirio said, and Izuku would then say that's correct. Mama, the guy who needed a special suit or he would be left naked, remember? It's him. That's what I was talking about. Upon hearing this, they're surprised right as Izuku's chains would then shoot forward, but much to Izuku's shock, as everyone sees them attack, they pass through him as the man's clothes begin to fall, making the girls look away in embarrassment. Mirio then falls through the floor and appears behind Izuku in the blink of an eye, catching everyone off guard as he punches and sends Izuku flying and crashing through the floor. He actually hit Midoriya. Well, that guy's the real deal. I don't know how strong that guy is, Tamajuki said, but recently, Mirio's gotten even stronger since he got his second quirk. Upon hearing this, everyone gets more on guard because, like, what the hell? And out of nowhere, Mirio would then fall through the floor, starting to take them all out with incredible strength, while Izuku would be getting up and fixing his jaw back into place, and he would then grow a smirk as when he looks forward, everyone from Class 1A has fallen. You look really scary, Midoriya, Mirio said. Jesus, this guy's second quirk must be strength-related. My insides are being crushed as we speak. You're right about the two being a bad matchup, Aizawa said, but when geniuses are challenged, they tend to grow even more. I suggest you look forward. As Tamajuki would turn, he would then see Izuku charge Mirio with a golden blade, which goes through him as Mirio would then throw a punch that goes to an auto fencer, but then it goes through it as it tries to protect Izuku. However, with the spin, Izuku would leap to the skies and swing down from above with a giant smile. He's reading my moves already, Mirio thought. Moving forward, he barely dodges in time and felt a slash as he had gotten his back cut up, and Tamajuki as well as Nejiro were caught off guard, but as he points the blade forward and Izuku would land, he says, unless you hold your breath, you can't be permeable, right? Combining that with how fast you pick up speed, your body can't gather enough oxygen efficiently when you're to speed up like that. You made a new weakness for yourself. He's then surrounded by gates that fire blades, but he permeates through them and falls to the floor, coming up beside Izuku throwing a punch when a gate will then open up, and he is then decked in the face by a 20% punch from himself, sending him flying right as his arm is then grabbed by Izuku, who appears flying above him as he is thrown over to him because Izuku was already moving there because he predicted it, and Mirio could only say, "What? How?" He adapted instantly, Tamajuki thought. As Mirio reaches for Izuku, he kicks the air, propelling himself past him and through Izuku, who feels an internal hit, making him spew blood, but making his blade disappear as he spins and takes out a scythe that Mirio would then spin and hit with a 20% kick. But then something bizarre occurs. Because they can both permeate things and Mirio was still trying to permeate through the object, they cancel each other out, and they're both sent flying, with Izuku then catching himself with flight, right as Mirio would then reach the ceiling and leap back down, permeating through the ground and popping up behind Izuku, who he flings a shockwave at with a flick of his finger, but his auto defenses would then block it as they would then back away from each other, now breathing heavily. The class who had now managed to see everything despite this immense pain in their gut, much like Tamajuki and Nejiro, were left amazed by how cool it was. Nejiro would then yell, "You guys were awesome!" She begins to clap and, snap the two from their concentration as they begin to chuckle, and Izuku would then put away his item, wiping his cheek. I haven't been hurt like this for years. As your senpai, I should open you up to new experiences. On it off here. I'm ready to talk about the point of all this, said Mirio. From above them falls his clothes through the gate at that point, with Izuku saying that that's fine, but he should really get dressed, which, he, like, seriously, he implores him to do, and as they all look away, because it's just weird now, because they're just staring straight at him, he's not moving, he would get dressed. I have a feeling that you thought he wasn't motivated because of how gifted he is, but I hope you learned something new, Aizawa said. Yeah, I underestimated him a lot. Sorry about that. I know how much he's done. I don't think he's particularly minding it though. I mean, look at him. He's grinning like crazy, Nejire said. He's adorable. After getting dressed, Mirio would then explain the point of his whole lesson, which is amazing when they learn that he only recently got his new quirk, and yet with Izuku exploiting its weakness, he was doing very well, and they just end up clapping. I guess the heroes did kind of treat us like guests last time. Yeah, they never let us really do anything dangerous. I guess the work studies are going to be a little bit more serious, different. And you'll do fine. Just keep sight of your surroundings and stay alert, Mirio said. Got it. Alright, time to go back, Aizawa said. As the three would then head off, Mirio would then say, I hope you come to Sarnada's again. I'm coming back there. Oh, I'm definitely coming. Mirio getting excited would then say goodbye, and also good that you're coming, and they exit the area with everyone seeing a grinning Izuku. I guess he's excited someone can finally hurt him for real, Kirishima said. Oh, he flipped the switch in Midoriya for real. It's kinda scary. How will finding a worthy opponent impact Izuku's growth? Find out in the next part of My Hero Academia. Peace. I'm gone.